everybody, I am Scotty J. Welcome back to Rock Titan Live. Got an awesome show for you today. This is no joke, all right? This guest I have right now, her band exploded onto the scene a few years back with their debut full-length album, Coming In Hot. They've got their new album coming out May 7th, American Dream, and they have a single out right now, Ghost Myself. It is awesome, and there's an official music video out there for it. There's also a song out there right now of this singer doing a little piece with Benjamin Burnley from Breaking Benjamin, Iris, cover from the Goo Goo Dolls. Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by Diamante. How are you? Oh my! Good. I'll tell you what. One thing I left out of that opening is that she made my favorite color blue. I love the blue hair. Have you ever had any other color?
Yeah. When I was 15, sophomore in high school, I begged my mom to let me dye my hair like bright fire truck red. And so I rocked that for a little bit in high school. And then I did like the platinum blonde thing, and then I went to blue. That's about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, blue is like your trademark. I mean, I don't think anyone would recognize you right now in the music world, the music scene, and in the media that covers the music scene. I don't know if they'd recognize you without the blue hair. Why blue?
You know, I wish I had like a really profound reason why blue. But to be honest, at the beginning, it was completely out of impulse. I was just so sick of being blonde. I was bored, I guess. And I went to my hairdresser girl here in LA, and I was like, man, I want a change. I'm feeling something different, like maybe a cool color. And she goes, well, I got lilac purple and electric blue, and these are your two options. And so I just went for the blue because it's always been my favorite color besides red. And after I did it, I started realizing, it kind of makes sense. My name means diamond. Diamonds are kind of blue.
Okay.
It's sort of like my middle name, and it means blue in Italian. So I don't know, it just kind of all goes together.
All right. Yeah. No, that works. Now, I mean, and it's like, are you a natural blonde?
I'm like light brown, not blonde, but not dark. I'm like a little bit in between. So it's easy for me to go light if I want to.
Okay. All right. Now, that blue that you have in, is this something that requires regular maintenance? Do you have to color it regularly, or is this like one of those more permanent things?
No blue is permanent. So I have to like constantly recolor this at least once every 3 weeks. And if I'm on tour and I want it to be like consistently blue, I got to do it like every 4 days. So it's a lot, but it's the price you pay.
Can't have them roots coming in, but yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I promise we're not going to talk about Diamante's hair the whole time, okay? But I was curious. This is one of these things I'm curious about, But American Dream, oh my gosh. I've had a chance to listen to the entire album. I know the public is not, because it comes out May 7th, unless they've got one of those advanced copies and whatnot. But so American Dream. Is there anything for you that, I guess, life experience-wise, that is infused into this album? Anything particularly life-altering between, when you had Coming In Hot, American Dream? Like, what about you? What changed in life that might present itself in this album for your fans?
Everything.
Yeah?
I would say that this album is 100% based on life experience and my personal growth. I think the biggest being that this album was done completely independently. So no record label, nothing. And I all of a sudden had all this creative control and freedom. And I think you can totally hear that in the album because it's so me. There's no limitations. There's no box. There's no, we got to put this into its own little segment and call it something. So I think that is probably the biggest thing you hear on the album. And then every story is something that actually happened to me. It's all autobiographical. That's why like there's a section of the album where there's a lot of heartbreak because that really did happen. I went through pretty bad heartbreak back in like 2018, and I wrote a lot during that time.
Wow.
And then a period of like self-discovery once I kind of gained the reins back in my career, and then I fall in love, and you hear all that on the album. So it's all personal experience.
Right on. Oh, I love it. Now, I know that you'd still been pursuing a degree in business. Are you done with that, or is that still something you're working toward?
I am so close. I'm so close. I have two more classes, and I technically graduate in May, but I'm
Right
not
on.
done until end of June or like middle of June.
Okay.
But I've been doing this since 2015. So the fact that it's almost here is like, thank God, because that was a mission.
See, you know what? But you have an excuse because you're a professional musician, and a touring musician at that, with the exception of what we've been dealing with the past year, like everybody else. But still, I mean, for you to be successful doing what you do as a musician, that takes an extraordinary amount of effort, as does an education. And at least you have an excuse, starting out in 2015. You know how many people started out in 2015 that aren't musicians or have a job or anything else? They just suck at school. you know like I'm still working on mine since 1994. Oh my god, you weren't even born yet. No. But seriously, so business was, being a musician, it probably would have been, I don't want to say easy for you to go to like a school of music, doing Berkeley or anything like that. Where are you getting your business degree from?
University of Redlands.
Okay. All right. Now, was it your ambition to pursue a degree in music to help you out, like on the business side of your music career? Was that like your sole purpose, or literally just to have something totally to fall back on in case you decide to hang up the mic and bag it?
I think it was more the first one.
Okay.
I actually got a scholarship to get a music degree at the school, but I figured like this is what I do for a living since I was 18. And I think it'd be so much more beneficial for me to learn the business side of things as opposed to the creative side of things. So I'm just doing that all the time, regardless. So I went into the business degree thinking like there's so much I can apply to my actual career with the things I learn in business because the music business is a business.
Right.
And especially someone like me who now I'm kind of like my own CEO, I thought it was so important to learn all those things.
Yeah, no, that's really smart. And as a matter of fact, I saw an interview that you did, and I don't always watch other people's interviews. I don't usually do that unless it's someone that I know and like really respect. And one of the things that one of the people I saw you talking to, I should say, is Lou Brutus, who's
Yeah.
just an absolutely incredible person. Had an awesome book come out not too long ago, and we talked to him. What an amazing career! And I noticed that you touched on the business side of things with him. I don't remember if you brought it up or it was probably him maybe that brought it up. Just that it is such a doggy dog world. It's a brutal industry. It's Your success as an artist definitely is not exclusively based on your talent, which it would be nice if it were that way.
Right.
But you've got to have a business mind or you're going to get chewed up. Have you found yourself, just because of the early success that you've had as a musician, have you found yourself kind of getting advice from like some of your peers and people that have kind of been there, done that, where you're like, oh man, I hope I don't ever have to go through that. And now you're to the point where it's like, oh my God, I actually went through that.
Yeah, both. I because I started out so young and I signed my first deal when I was like 18.
Wow.
Um, at the beginning, I definitely thought all I have to worry about is singing and playing shows and writing the music, and everything else will get taken care of, and that's fine. And I've learned over the years that that's completely not the case. You have to be on top of everything, making sure you're not getting screwed over in certain areas, making sure that everything around you is, honest and good. And there are a lot of horror stories I've heard of other artists in the industry where like they're just trapped in horrific deals or they
Right.
have no autonomy over their own careers. And I never wanted to end up that way. So I was like definitely recently, especially constantly making sure that I wasn't putting myself in any situation like that.
Right. And I guess in that thought, would you say that that's probably been one of the more refreshing experiences with American Dream, that you have had that freedom, that you haven't had, you know, anyone necessarily other than you and the band in control of the destiny of where this heads?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that I think, like I said, that's why you can hear that in the music.
Yeah.
And there's just so much of me in this album.
Right on. No, I love it. I love the cover that you did with Benjamin Burnley. That was awesome. You know, and like we talked about, we had Lacey Sturm on not too long ago, and she had done some work with him, which I just think is incredible. He seems very cool, very friendly, and just the way you guys harmonize together, you know, doing Iris. I thought that was really cool. Was that just like did you know Ben before you guys did that song? How did that come about?
Yeah, I knew Ben really well because I had basically toured with Breaking Benjamin for like, it felt like 2 years straight, because
Okay.
the first time I toured with them, I was out with Bad Wolves singing our song together, just that one song. But I kind of like came along for the ride and got to do an entire amphitheater tour with Breaking Ben. And then the next year, I did an arena tour in the spring as my own artist, and then a amphitheater tour over the summer. So I got to know Ben and all the guys in Breaking Ben and the crew so well. So when I had the idea to cover Iris, and Neil Sanderson, he had the idea to make it a duet, I thought, like, what vocalist would I want on this song? Who do I think would be the best fit? And I thought of Ben immediately because we
Nice.
had so much experience already, like being on tour together. I really got to know him. And all I did was just send him a DM on Instagram. And I was like, hey, Ben, I have this idea. I want to cover Iris. I was just completely like throwing darts through the window. Like, who knows what was going to happen? Darts to the window. That's not a phrase. Darts to the wall.
You know what?
And
It could be though. It
you
could
know,
be.
what window are you throwing darts um, and surprisingly, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm down. I love this song too. It's always been one of my favorites, and yeah, let's do it." And so maybe a month or two later, he had the idea to actually record in the same place at the same time, and I ended up flying to Reno where he was playing a show with Korn, and we ended up doing the vocals on his tour bus, and it
Wow.
was so epic and so rad. And yeah, working with him was awesome. He's the nicest guy, always like courteous and taking care of you if you're on tour with him. So super cool experience.
Yeah, man. So you get to work with him. You work with Tommy Vex from Bad Wolves. Anyone else on your bucket list? Is there like any particular musicians that you know you grew up idolizing and
Oh,
that you would love to perform with today? Anyone in particular?
yeah, so many. I would love to uh, work with Lizzie from Halestorm. I think she's incredible.
Ah, right
She's
on.
amazing.
Yeah.
Brent from Shinedown. I love Shinedown growing up. I mean, Joan Jett is like a top bucket list. That'd be so cool to one
Wow.
day get to play a show with her.
Well,
Um,
you are today's Joan Jett. I'll tell you what. That's exactly who you are. You, you seriously are, you know, and I mean, and you talk about like Lizzie Hale from Halestorm, you know, and then you got Maria Brink out there in this moment. I mean, you are their peers. I mean, you are in that grouping. I think an elite grouping. If there's like a Mount Olympus of like female fronted bands these days, you know, just like the absolute most hardcore of rockers that kick ass and take names and throw darts through glass. All right. That would be Diamante. You know, like
oh,
seriously.
thank you.
Well,
I I look up to those women, so that's really cool.
I mean it. So it's been a challenging year. Now, how much of American Dream, and again, everybody, American Dream, brand new Diamante album coming out May 7th. Um, were you still doing, was the writing process still going on during this quarantine COVID-19 deal that we've had? Or were you already done and you just decided to kind of wait on the release so you could get out and tour in support of it?
I would say that the majority of the album was actually written during quarantine, which is
Okay.
really cool. I mean, so the first song I wrote for the album was Wake Up Call, and that was all the way back in 2018. And songs like Obvious and Serves You Right and maybe one other were written back in 2019, but for the most part, all the like newer songs of the album were written during quarantine just because I had all the time in the world to write, you know? I wasn't out on the road touring, and for someone like me, it's hard for me to write when I'm on tour because my head is just so in performer mode.
Okay.
I know a lot of bands really love like bringing their studios out on their buses and making albums from tour, but I just for some reason like if I'm in that one zone, I can't be in writer zone. So I had all the time in the world, and I think songs like Unlovable, American Dream was actually the last song I wrote for the album back in
Okay.
like September. So the other cool thing about this album is I was kind of releasing songs as they were being created. It wasn't like I had the whole compilation and then decided which songs. So you hear like definitely a storyline and a story arc going on through the album based on the track listing and the order in which I released the songs.
Okay. All right. Now, Ghost myself, I love, and Rock Titan, music television. We still have that moniker, in our branding because we're all about the music videos, and I love breaking down music videos and sharing them with the public. That you guys put on, kind of like my own little version of MTV back when MTV actually was about music television, and it still breaks my heart that nothing like that really exists today, other than like YouTube. But
Yeah.
oh my God. Like you probably can't even remember like when MTV was actually MTV, can you?
My earliest memories of MTV were like the show Next and like My Sweet 16.
Jeez.
So no, I wasn't there for the prime time.
Oh my God, that breaks the heart because yeah, I mean so many bands that undoubtedly, influenced you. I know that there's a big tour that's gonna be going on with Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Joan Jett, Poison. I mean, holy God. I mean, that's like amazing stuff. I think Diamante should be on that ticket.
Me too.
Would that be amazing? That would be absolutely incredible. So now that, the summer is virtually upon us here, uh, do you guys have a schedule? I mean, are you guys ready to get out there? Is there already anything set? Are you doing like the Danny Wimmer Presents festivals, anything like that?
Yeah, I have a couple festivals actually booked, but I've only announced one so far, which is the Incarceration Festival. And I'm so stoked to play this one because the
Nice.
lineup is insane. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, right on. So May 7th, it's still a little bit out. We're still a couple of weeks out from there. In terms of official music videos, are you looking to do any more official music videos in support of American Dream?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah?
so I ended up doing something kind of crazy, which is I filmed three music videos back to back in 3 days. So in the time frame that I did Ghost myself, I did two other ones. And those are so cool as well. And I can't wait for everyone to see those.
Okay, all right. So we're not divulging which songs they are off the album. Anything in terms of when they might be released, before or after American Dream officially, hits the market?
Both will be released after the album
Okay.
comes out.
All right. Oh my God. That is so cool. So what do you do for fun other than music?
You know, I love to drink tequila. That's a
Really?
big one. I like to play video games with my brothers.
Really?
Yeah, like RPG, like Skyrim and Fable and those kind of games. I like
Wow.
to, I think with this last year, because I was so tired of being cooped up inside, I love going on hikes. I like being outside. I like going to the beach. I love hanging out with my dog, um, trying new foods. I'm a huge foodie. Yeah, just kind of
Wow.
trying to do whatever I could do.
Okay, so being a foodie, you got to have like some serious exercise program to still fit in all them outfits that you hit the stage with. What do you do?
I think my exercise program kind of flew out the window in 2020. But for sure, like whenever I'd gear up to go out on a tour, I'd be all like hitting the gym and going on runs. I mean, That's not fair to say because I did go on a lot of hikes and I did run outside a lot this last year. I'm more of a cardio person just because I like moving. I
Well, I
don't,
would
and that
imagine you have to be, and you're the lead singer, no less. So, I mean, that's another thing, and especially with your voice. I mean, it's not like you're one of those lead singers where your vocals are, all guttural or you're anyone's style. Like you have a very wide range, vocally. Is there anything that you do specifically to keep your voice in shape? Not just your body, but keeping your voice in shape. Is there anything that you do?
I kind of just try to sing every day. I
Really?
feel like
Okay.
as long as you're working these muscles and you're keeping them kind of moving every day, you don't lose the strength you build. Like for example, when you're on tour and you're singing every night, I noticed like 2 weeks into a tour, I'm like, man, I can sing anything. I'm on fire. And so I try to at least sing every day. And like writing and making this album the last year, I was singing a lot because I was writing so much and demoing vocals and then going into the studio with Howard and recording the entire album. So even though I wasn't on tour, I still felt like I was exercising this enough.
Yeah.
And I don't do like professional vocal lessons, although I should. I have in the past. I just haven't really kept up with it.
You don't sound like you need them.
I'm not the most technical singer, so it always helps. But something that I learned in vocal lessons that really does help is breath control. So I'm not like dying on stage after song number two. That's
Right.
really helpful.
Yeah, yeah. Now, well, we're talking about your voice, but I can't help it notice in the background there. It looks like you got an acoustic guitar up there, and I don't know if that's an electric guitar or a bass. But do you
That is
play
the thing.
do you play guitar? Do you play bass? Do you play any other instruments?
I I'm very novice when it comes to guitar. I actually have started trying to pick up piano because I have a song on the album that's very piano based, and I had to kind of learn the song on pianos, and I really started falling in love with it. So I'm hoping that I can get experienced enough where I can just bring out a grand piano in the middle of a set and just rock out on one song and then bring it back out.
All right, I was going to ask you because that would be cool. I mean, that would be cool to see you on stage, like, with a guitar slung around your neck or,
I
you up there on
know.
piano just jamming away. So that is in the plans, huh? You're going to add that to your repertoire?
I want to, yeah. I mean, my grandfather was a classical pianist, so I feel like maybe it's in me. And I just
It
gotta.
is. It's in the DNA. Oh, I believe it. Oh my God. Well, Diamante, thank you so much for joining us on Rock Titan Live. And again, everybody, American Dream's coming out May 7th. And go pre-order it if you feel so inclined to do so. And because I've listened to the whole thing, it's absolutely awesome. It is definitely well worth the wait. And go check out the official music videos that are out there right now. Ghost myself, very cool, very fun, and of course her collaboration with Benjamin Burnley from Breaking Benjamin, Iris cover of the Goo Goo Dolls, very, very cool. So make sure you go check that out. And if you enjoyed this podcast between myself and this beautiful blue-haired woman, all right, make sure you just give us a little subscribe, show us a little bit of love, and go check out everything Diamante. Make sure you go check out everything. We got the links right here. We got the links to the social media and the website and everything like that. So thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah, you got it. I'm Scotty J. You're watching Rock Titan Live. We're out.